Early morning start, leaving San Evaristo, 5:30 in the morning. Unusually, I'm passing a freighter that's going north. You don't see very many of those. They tend to go into La Paz and then back out again, but this one must be going up to Santa Rosalia. 51 nautical miles to go. And yet another freighter. Seems to be a few around this morning. Thankfully he's passed in front of me with plenty of room. It's actually a yacht lifting freighter. Must be going in to pull up some boats in La Paz and take them back to the States. I'm in close to the land at Espiritu Santo to keep out some of the swell, and I've just got to shoot across the bay next into the channel. Well, the cruising season's about to end for me. I left La Paz in November, crossed over to the mainland, spent the winter there, and then crossed back over to the Baja and cruised up to just beyond Puerto Escondido. I'm now about 3 or 4 hours out of La Paz, where the boat is going to go into a slip for the hurricane season. I left at 5:30 this morning. It's been a 51 nautical mile journey. It's probably going to take me, well, by the time I get in, 8 hours, around about that. But yeah, that's it. It looks like this season is all but done. Just need to secure the boat for hurricane season and give it a damn good wash. It's amazing how dirty it gets, both inside and out, and I've got a stack of washing to do, all the normal chores. The oil needs changing again, all sorts of stuff. So, but I'm looking forward to getting in. It's been a fantastic cruising season, and looking forward to next year. I'm going back to Australia at the beginning of July for my daughter's graduation, and then I'll be back on the boat on the 1st or 2nd of August, ready for hurricane season. So there we go. One season more or less complete without any mishaps. The tragedy of Ocean Bound going missing spoiled it somewhat, but this year there seems to be not so much in the sea, but there's been a lot of bolos issued for boats, not only in the sea but also in crossing the South Pacific. In terms of this season, much less wildlife. Met some great people, as you always do, that goes without saying. Made some new friends. The boat performed effortlessly, no issues whatsoever, which was rather pleasing, especially when you solo sail. So yeah, good season all in all, and yeah, that's it. As you know, I single hand, and going into Marina La Paz can be a bit tricky. It's a tight marina with narrow slips, and it's got a constant current running through it, and you've got to do a couple of turns, 2 or 3, before you can get into the designated slip. Even in the completely calm weather, it can still be tricky because of the current that runs completely through it. So I've set up with every single fender I've got, 4 on the port side. They've said it's a port tie, and then line set up on the port side as well, obviously. But then I've also set up 3 fenders on the starboard side at gunwale level in case I nudge the boat in the next slip to protect him. And I've also set up with dock lines on the starboard side just in case the marina change their mind at the last minute and put me in a different slip. Normally I wouldn't do it this far out, but it's pretty calm out here at the moment. I've got about I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe hour and a half, but the channel leading into Marina La Paz is very long and fairly narrow, and I don't want to be messing with putting fenders and lines out, trying to avoid the traffic that goes in and out of a fairly busy probably 2-mile channel. So I'm well prepared in advance. Hopefully the season end will be without mishap. Getting into slips, probably the most anxious time for a lot of people, certainly for a single-hander, and I haven't damaged anybody yet, and I want to keep that clean record. So I have to say, always a little bit nervous. If the tide gets me, it could be an issue, but we'll see. It should all go according to plan. The forecast said 7 to 10 knots. That could be right. It's dead calm at the moment, but I can see up ahead as we get closer there's more disturbance on the water, so maybe that forecast is right. But fingers crossed, toes crossed. I'm not going to film it. Okay. Some of the freighters that I dodged this morning between 5 and 7 o'clock. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I can see. Maybe some of them have gone into the port. There appears to be one just outside. It's pretty busy. One's a boat loading freighter, which I filmed this morning. So for people that don't want to sail up the Baja coast back to the US, known as the Baja Bash, which can be difficult because of the prevailing northerly wind and big seas. Some people put their boats on the freighter. They're lifted out of the water and put on deck and taken back to San Diego, Los Angeles, or even Canada. I believe the price for a 40-foot boat is $27,000. Takes about a week if you're lucky to sail it. If you're unlucky and you have to sit out in one of the very few places you can actually stop and shelter from a northerly wind and seas, yeah, if you don't want to do that, you know, you can be stuck there. Some people take 3 weeks. So it's a roaring trade. Hence why some boats are actually sold down here, because they don't want to sail them back, and they don't want to pay the freighter. So they're sold in Mexico, fully equipped, ready to cruise. People just take off their personal effects, and it's a move on and sail away type situation if you're looking for a boat. Just what I didn't want to happen. It was flat calm 10 minutes ago. I think the forecast was right. It's now blowing 12 to 15 and there's some white caps started to appear. I'm going to move closer into land. the long channel entrance to La Paz. You might just see the marker buoys up ahead. So here we are, Milagro, in its slip for hurricane season. They actually put me into the empty slip here when I first arrived, and then we just pulled the boat across to its permanent slip for the hurricane season. The north wind comes from there, which is likely to be the direction of any hurricanes coming. So there's a nice wall there, some protection, and a damn great apartment block up here, which will help. And it's far enough away from the open entrance to probably reduce the swell quite a lot if we get some bad winds. Fortunately, the AC worked when I switched it on, and the next thing I did was to get the sun covers up because it is getting hot and pretty humid. Actually, it calms down around about 8 o'clock at night when the sun goes down, but you can see it probably doesn't show very well on the camera, but these causeways are pretty narrow. There's not much room for error coming into the dock. Boat's been washed. Just need to clean the stainless and polish the hull at some point, but I won't do that yet. Happy to be on shore, actually. It's yeah, been 9 months since I was here the last time. All these are tourist pangas, tours of the island and diving and all sorts. You can just see the entrance out there, so yeah, there's a fair bit of protection, which is nice. Obviously there'll be another boat coming in beside me at some point, as this marina is full. Not a big marina by comparison to some of the others, but it's one of the better run marinas in Mexico. Neil, the owner, does a great job. Staff do really well. It's old, but it's well cared for. They keep it clean. And very polite and courteous staff. It's a pleasure to be here, actually. You do get a mix of, let's say, helpfulness in marinas. This one in Puerto Escondido, staff very helpful, welcome you in, yeah, really good. And others, well, to put it mildly, they don't give a toss. Love this boat next to me though. Not seen anybody on it, but it actually gave me quite a lot of shade when I was in the slip next to it, which is quite nice. I'm hoping something big comes in. That's it. Marina de La Paz. Actually, the other bit of news is a fellow cruiser, Crit Dowler, on a lovely Passport 40 called Jazzed. Known her for about 10 years. She sails solo. She's over 70 years old. And she had 2 bicycles chained up to the fence by the office. I'll show you them later, but she said if I repaired both of them, I could have use of one for as long as I like. So now I appear to have transport. Took about an hour of work on each of them. The chain was actually rusted to the derailleur gears, so it took a bit of working to get it all back to normal again, but yeah, it works really well. Going over later this morning to give her a hand. You can just see her boat over there with the dinghy hanging off the back. Give her a hand to put her sunshades up. We did her sail cover yesterday and brought her AC conditioner out of the car. It's one of those window units, and put it on her deck, as in true cruiser style. Anybody that needs any help, there's always plenty of people to offer assistance. But thanks, Crit, for giving me a form of transport. It's going to be hot and sweaty riding it, and my rock climbing helmet will act as my bicycle helmet. Anyway, there we go. End of a cruising season. Marina de La Paz. Thanks very much for watching the videos, and let's hope it's a non-hurricane summer. This is one of the bikes I repaired. Everything sort of worked on it except for the chain, which was rusted to the derailleur gears. And this is the other one. This was in a worse shape, but it's actually come out better than the other one. They're pretty old. They've been chained to the railings for some time. The seats have been destroyed by the sun, but everything else works fine. It's going to be my transport whilst I'm in La Paz. Saves walking everywhere.